What's going on? Welcome. My name is Justin Hickox, and I'm going to tell you in this video how you can trim your bangs at home, but be confident in that you're going to do it correctly. So today, by the end of this video, you will know exactly step by step what to do and why to do it so that you can masterfully cut your own bangs. And because I get asked this question all the time, I'm also going to show you how you style your bangs so that you can get the most control out of them regardless of what kind of bangs you have. So there's that. Alrighty, so first, before we jump into the actual technique, we need to talk about tools. So the first thing we want to talk about is combs. Make sure that you get a comb similar to this. If you notice, this is not a wide tooth comb. This is basically a standard hairdressing comb. It's going to help control your hair and make sure that the combing is as clean as we can get it so that you can have a cleaner result. The next piece of tool you're going to need is obviously shears or scissors. These are extremely important, but it is not important that you get special high-priced shears like stylists tend to use. It is important though that you pay attention to how long the blade is. Sometimes you can find shears where the blade is super long, and all that can do is run you into problems where you end up cutting too much and potentially cut the bangs too short. So I prefer something closer to this length. It's about a 4.5 to 5 inch length shear, but do pay attention to getting one that's not too long. Okay, now that we have the tools taken care of, let's dive into the step-by-step.
First of all, you're gonna style your bang 100% the way you would wear it. Then the next thing you're gonna do is you're going to just take the hair, everything outside of the crest of your eyebrow. I'm just gonna take and I'm gonna pull that out of the way. Okay, so all we're dealing with is the center stuff, the stuff right in between the eyebrow crests. So right about in there. Okay. If we cut outside of this, the concern is that we'll cut straight and all of a sudden you've got this little square section here and it's no longer sloping. It's very easy to overcut this, and if once you create that line, it's really hard to get out. What you're gonna do is you're gonna get very close to the mirror. She can't because we've got cameras here, but you get very close to the mirror and you're just gonna put those up and you're literally going to just cut like that. See how she's pointing into them? She's not doing this. So you're literally going to just snip the very tips until you get them to the right length. At this point, if you wanted to, you could take a comb, you could put that in those pieces, comb it down, and then do it like this, right? So you've got one, so grab this with this hand just so you can see it. So you got one hand, and then just do that, okay? And snip away at them in this way until you get the right length. The reason, again, that we're using this comb is because it means that there's not a lot of tension on the hair, so that when she lets them out of the comb, they're gonna be the right length. If you do this, and you comb this down and you pull it down, right, and then you snip them to the length that you want them, and then you let them go up, see how much they just popped up, right, you're gonna end up with really, really, really short bangs. Then when you comb it down, you're gonna see that there's a little bit of length outside of that. If you want to at that point, what I would do is I would take the longest piece and I would use that as the starting piece, and I would just connect the dots. You'll have a shorter bang here, longer bang here, and I would just cut into this stuff and just connect those two pieces, and then I would leave it alone. But the worst thing you can do is cut square across like this, or pull it down really, 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 really hard or against your scalp, and then do this where there's a lot of tension on it, and then watch it cinch back up, or cutting it too far out and back. That is going to cause a problem too. So don't do those things.
Okay, quick disclaimer about cutting the bangs too far back. Now, if you have bangs that are already cut square or strong straight across and you're trying to trim those, then you can follow that line and that's not gonna be a problem. But if you have bangs that have a tendency to blend into layers that start in the front, then you're gonna wanna be very careful about getting those too square back. So then you would follow exactly the techniques that I just showed. Okay, so now that we've got cutting out of the way, let's dive into how you would actually style bangs. Now, this specific technique is a technique that you can use on any length of bangs, and regardless of if you're wearing a side swoop or if you're wearing them straight down, or if you're wearing longer bangs, whatever you're doing. So follow the steps regardless of how you plan on wearing your hair, which you'll understand, I think, a little bit more in a second. The way we're going to begin this is you're going to dampen your hair. Now, either you just got out of the shower or if you're restyling it on a day where you don't plan on jumping in the shower, you're gonna wanna dampen your hair down and apply the standard product that you would typically use. I prefer some sort of gel or mousse in the front many times just to get a little bit more control over the bangs, but I would recommend to you to use whatever you've been using that's been working so far. You apply the product, and then from there, you move into these steps.
Okay, so now that we've got the product in, let's talk about actually getting the moisture out. So I'm gonna have you take this and comb those straight down into your face like you're gonna wear a really heavy bang, and now bring that blow dryer up and just start drying those straight down. Even if we want some volume, we still are gonna get the volume, but we need to make sure that we get control first. So now I want you to go all the way from one side, perfect, and do that, and get it dry, and then do the other side, and then just go back and forth, right? We would essentially call this non-directional, meaning you're not drying your hair to one side or the other in particular, you're going back and forth. This is gonna help eliminate any sort of specific part. If you've got a really strong part, it's gonna help us minimize that part as much as we can. But just like that, you're gonna go back and forth. Now brush it back off your face. Perfect, and put this blow dryer down. Yep, there you go, and then back down again now. Now if you can see, we've got the bangs, and even though she's got a really strong natural part, you're still finding, because we're going back and forth, we're gonna be able to get some control out of where those bangs end up actually landing. She also has a very predominant widow's peak. But what you also see is, even though this widow's peak is here, because she was drying it back and forth, and not giving any specific direction, when we comb this down, we're gonna get the most control out of that shape as we can. Let's say at this point you wanted to part your hair more off to the side. Because you haven't given it any specific part, if we go off to the side with it now, especially when you give it a little bit of bend, you're still gonna be able to get control and get it off to the side.
And that's it, folks. I hope that helped you. I hope you got some value out of that. Now, if you want more tutorials in general on how to style hair, or just tips in general about hair, make sure you head over to my YouTube channel. This is what it looks like right here. Now, I also have a video on my channel that goes much more into depth about cutting bangs and how to actually cut bangs into your hair if you have no bangs already. That video looks like this right here. So head over to the channel if you want to check that out. Otherwise, I appreciate you hanging out. I hope this helped, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.